Hey, good God evening. Welcome to Revive to Live the Movement, our virtual gatherings on Saturday. On Saturday, um we are here to challenge, open up minds, commune you to go deeper, challenge you to go deeper within your spirit, man. So tonight we have um myself, founder of Revive to Live the Movement. We also have the co-founder of Revive to Live the Movement, Tisa MT. Um, then we have Bishop B with Life Ministries Search. Search. He's a life minister.
Senior servant.
Yeah, I can't see. Oh my God, y'all need. I guess I need glasses. Um, Unfortunately. So anyway, this week is part two of the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help us, God. Ain't that what they say on the stand? Um, so we had kind of dove into some things on last Saturday that was one of those things about what do we define the truth to be and how we defined it. And we have the factual truth. I know that ain't what Bishop B said. What did you say? Refutable truth. What was that
No,
word?
you have the
Absolute. The
you have the
absolute
absolute
truth.
truth, and you
Okay.
have perspective as truth.
Okay. And
Relative.
that's the word I was about to say. The relative
Mhm.
truth. So those were some conversations that the conversation that we had last week, and just getting into the thought, sharing our thoughts of what we feel the truth is. All right. And last week it was just a personal thing. This week is still personal. But it's some areas I would like to take this. And I'm gonna read the scripture um to in the King James Version, and then I'm gonna read it in the message version. All right. John 8:31-32. It's the King James. Then Jesus said to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, make you free.
Mm.
And we always say set you free, but it shall make you free.
Mhm.
And that's a whole okay. So the message version is the way they say it. Then Jesus turned to the Jews whom he claimed to who yeah, the Jews who claim to believe in him, the claiming, right? If you stick with this, living out what I tell you, you are my disciples for sure. Then you will experience for yourself truth, and the truth will free you. So one question I didn't even think about: where did we get the truth shall set us free? What? Why we start saying where they come
It's
from?
it's because if you read the scripture in the NIV version, it says set
Yes.
instead of make.
Okay.
And set is, I mean, for those that don't care for the thous and these and begats and all that stuff that you find in the King James version, a lot of people go for the NIV, and in the NIV it says set instead of make, even though there is a fundamental difference between the words set and make.
It is. So true. So so with this, I want us to take a look into ourselves. Like not just believing um no, let me just ask this question. Uh how do we take this scripture as far as somebody giving us knowledge of something? Um how would you take this scripture to say what you're free from. If I'm making myself clear.
Say that again. Sorry, my family was talking to me. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand. I'm sorry. Um, Definitely understand. So, how would you look or take that scripture as to what would you be set free from, or made made free, or will be free from? Um, how what would be some of those things that we would say is freedom?
I think a lot of times truth brings about freedom.
Is that me? Is that me? I'm furrows. Okay. Um. So when Bishop B come back in, so having the truth shall set us free, make us free. A lot of times we take it as I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm telling you the truth, and this is how it is, and I'm getting it off my mind because I'm not gonna keep nothing inside. And it's said to a like people will take that, and I'm setting you free because I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth about who you are. I'm going and then I'm telling you the truth for people say I want to make you better. I want to help you to become better. So this truth will set you free. Me telling you will set you free. And so that is really just the truth. Did you hear anything I said, Bishop B?
No, sorry, my family is calling me. Like some of them are at the store, others are in the living room. I am so sorry. You.
No, I mean
Um,
I know you have family things, but what I was saying is that we say the truth will set you free as far as I'm telling you the truth. I'm helping you to become free. You know, this is what you need to know. This is something people ain't telling you, that your breath stink. And I'm just telling you that your breath stink because I love you. And I just got to tell you the truth, right? Even in that tone, that is how it's said. So it can even be a little sweeter. I got your back, and these other people be lying on you and don't tell you the truth. And you need some gum on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? And that is the truth from what they see. The truth.
It's heated.
Okay.
It's
So,
heated.
huh? Right. So when we take that perspective of somebody else telling the truth, and they truth supposed to set us free because they got it off their chest and they just telling us the truth.
Well, the flip side to that is where people are not telling their truth to say, I'm trying to set you free. They just feel like I'm going to be real and I'm just going to tell it how it is. They take it in that aspect to get it off of them. But like you said, there's a way to say things, there's a way to speak your truth without being mean, rude, condescending. You know what I'm saying? It's a way to state what you need to state without
correct,
rubbing somebody the wrong way and it still be truth.
correct. I tell people all the time, it's never really what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just be honest. You can tell someone in a nice enough way to kiss your behind, and they might actually pucker their lips and do it, depending on how you say it to them. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Um, Jameer King, stop it. Sorry. Um, you can a lot
Gotta
of
let
times
them know.
it's not so much that you can't that a lot of times it's not that people don't want to hear the truth. It's how have you presented the truth to them? If you present it in a way that is offensive, nobody's going to accept it. No one's going to want to hear it, whether that is the truth or not. It's
Right.
how you approach the situation. Truth comes along to set us free. Honestly, a word that we hear used a lot here lately. Truth comes along and sets us free from our delusions, or should I say, makes us free from our delusions.
Mm,
Um, I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes we go through life and we go through life with these rose-colored lenses on, and we're not seeing things as the way they should be seen.
mhm,
And oh, everything's hunky dory, everything's okay. I get having that mindset, but a band-aid over a crack in the Hoover Dam is not going to do much.
mhm,
And when you go through life, like, oh, everything's hunky dory, everything's great, it's like putting a band-aid over a crack in the Hoover Dam.
mhm.
Mm-mm. You got to address some stuff. The hard truth comes to bring healing. A lot of times we're walking around holding on to traumas about stuff, and we just need to accept some truth there. And part of that truth is accepting that sometimes some of the trauma that we have experienced, we have to own and say, some of this is my fault." As I said last week, when a person has shown you that they are not going to respect your boundaries, if you continue to put yourself in a space with them, you are now at a point where you have to own the fact that
Yeah.
some of this trauma is your fault because you keep allowing yourself to be in the same space with people who don't respect your boundaries.
Mhm.
So truth comes along to make us free even from our own selves sometimes, because sometimes we are the reason we are bound. But we don't want to hear that.
That's true.
So
That's
what
true.
about when we
Accountability.
say perspective?
Mhm.
Exactly. So what when we say, because we will put people in a place to make them accountable, or does, like, yeah, tell them, like, you ain't paying attention to what's going on around you. You ain't paying attention to your traumas, how you still living in that way, right? But what when it comes in and they, like, anybody can say, well, that's the way you see it. That's your perception of me. That's your thought of me. That's how you have seen me to be. And that don't really that don't make it the truth. That makes
Mm,
it more what you feel and think about me.
Could that be
mm.
their truth though? That you just don't agree with?
It possibly can. But when we talked about truth last week, and we talk about that's the truth from what they feel. So they're
From their
living the life
perception, yeah.
that they know from their perspectives to be truth. So sometimes we people can't receive honestly what people are saying, because at that moment that is their truth, and they may not even kind of realize the traumas that they hold. So with that, I like you said, accountability. I about to say bay. Anyway, I said bay. Um, with accountability, in that we say, as you got to take accountability for your stuff, right?
Hmm.
You need to be accountable for your stuff. And the same thing, if I'm telling somebody they need to be accountable for their stuff, do we really take a deep look within ourselves to say, I got to be accountable for what's true? And I
Hmm.
can tell somebody else the truth about them, because that's my version of what I see. But the flip side is, then, if we seeing so many truths of others, are we really being honest with ourselves about where we really are?
That is a hard thing to do. And if you do that, you have to be ready to be totally raw and honest with yourself. And that's when growth comes in, because nobody wants to deal with that shadow side. Nobody wants to deal with that. The negativity is yin and yang. It's a balance. Everybody got a shadow. And nobody wants to face, most people, I won't say nobody, Most people don't want to face that dark side that they have. But with light, there's dark, and it has to be balanced. So in order for you to grow, you have to be able to face that shadow. And like I said, most people don't want to do that. And it's very hard to do that, you know, to sit up here and say, damn, I'm a liar.
Mm-hmm.
That's very
Mm-hmm.
hard. You know what I'm saying? To really admit that to yourself, or I'm a thief, or I'm this, or I'm that. That's very hard to admit to yourself. And but how can you change the behavior until you have that realization? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How can you move forward from that?
Very true.
And go ahead.
It's of this mindset. Until you can admit that you're in darkness, you'll never know that you truly need light. I really want someone to catch it. Until you can admit that you are in darkness, you won't know that you need light. Um, Growing up, my mother used to tell me and my sisters, there are two people you never lie to, God and yourself. Well, with that being said, God and self are the two people that it's often hard to be honest with. Scripture says we see through a glass darkly. Uh, what that is likened to is standing in a dark room trying to look into a mirror. You're not seeing much. Until you turn the light on, you will never see what needs to be seen. And truth be told, many of us can't stand in front of a mirror too long. Or if we are looking in the mirror, we won't look at ourselves in the eye in the mirror. We'll look to see what our hair looks like. We'll look to make sure, our pants are falling the right way on our shoes, or we'll make sure that, we really do match and everything has come together the way we've seen it in our mind. But how many of us actually stand in the mirror and look ourselves in the eye while we're in the mirror?
Right. So when you just said the way when we look in the mirror, we are definitely putting ourselves together to have this presentation
Hmm.
so people can even say, "Oh, they cute today."
Right.
Oh, they smell good today. And sometimes most time, we're not really doing it for ourselves. We're really doing it so other people can compliment us. Now,
Hmm.
we do want to look good. Now, I know, like I got some certain things where everything got to match. Everything got to match to the T, right? And so sometimes it be taking me longer to get dressed. Now, it's not something that nobody will probably even can tell. It's something I know that I am very
It's
critical
okay.
about.
Come here. Come here.
That I'm
Come on.
very critical about, and it keeps me in the way of being later than I should be, right?
Hmm.
And so with that, if we are looking to look good or be good, because we really don't want nobody to see who we are inside. So we use this as a representation because some things we don't even want to really realize and say, I desire attention. I desire a friend. I desire connection. And I'm glad people now are really talking about more friend concepts, right? And talking about the building of friends. But everybody was first like, oh, I need a husband. I need a wife. That was the kind of connection that people desire. And most people they should always have the desire, right? But we always at first skipped over the friend. In most cases, if you have a real good friend, you can definitely be in the place of vulnerability. You
Yeah.
should be in a place of vulnerability. You should be in a place of transparency, right? Now, will you really get in that dark room, not be and go to your childhood? Because that's some of the things we don't want to deal with. To go back and do our shadow work, and our shadow work will take us back really for us to even see what was said to us in the womb. Because if we allow our spirit to be that open to receive this, no matter how hard it will to how no matter how hard it will be to digest this, it should come definitely come from a place of I need to go there. I all right, Bishop B. I need to go there. I have to go there. You know, um, and it do take a lot of strength. And this, when I say strength, is level by level. Cause some things we think, oh man, they in therapy, they gonna be good. No, it's a level. It's levels to this thing. Like, yeah, you may crack. First of all, you may have to dig up the grass, get to a little surface of the dirt, and then from there we got to pluck up that seed. We go to the root. So we can't even put people on our time frame of what we feel their freedom should be,
Mm.
what we feel their life should be. And so that is something that I feel that we definitely have to really be truthful about. Be really, really truthful, be really, really mindful, and not so much of walking on eggshells with others, but we can, if we can take some truths within ourselves and stand in that, man, this is me. This have been me. So sometimes somebody may say something. They'd be like, yeah, mm-hmm. Or it'd be like, really? That's what you see? And then for me, I'd be like, let me go in. Let me
So
go in.
look, what gives somebody the right to put somebody on their timeline?
We do it though. It don't, nobody got that right.
Right.
So I don't, that's a, for me, that have always been a thing of the more I kind of evolve, change, open up my mind. It seems like that is so much control.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
Mm-hmm.
much control. And most people want you to be on their timeline so they can get you where they want you.
Right.
And
Right.
then if I get you on your my timeline and even make you feel less than because you didn't come up when I needed you to,
Mm.
that's a can be a form of manipulation. And now I
Mm-hmm.
can control you because I manipulated you into thinking you wasn't doing good because it wasn't on this time frame. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
God don't take 30 years to take smoking away. Well, what if
Well,
smoking
some people it do.
it
Some
do?
people can quit just like that. Some
Right,
people it do take a long time.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then at that, then I don't feel I'm smoking again. Oh my God. Then we get to a place of beating ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the growth that we trying to mature in, the growth that we trying to get to, we end up backing away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because now our mind is like, I ain't gonna never get there.
Or we
I ain't
making ourselves feel shameful because we step backward instead of, okay, I step back, so let me just move forward from this point on,
mm-hmm,
you know, instead of just facing it head on. Yeah. But listen, you brought up that therapy thing. So
mm-hmm,
a lot of people, especially in our culture, don't want to do therapy because
mm-hmm,
they, feel like that means you crazy or something like that. And to me, therapy is so beneficial. But when you are actually applying the tools that they give you, and when you are really active and participating in it, it will uproot so much stuff in you that you can't help but face it. And if you want to get better, you're going to face it. If you don't want to get better, you're going to play around and waste your money and waste your time.
mm-hmm,
But it, with me and my therapist, it always triggers something that I probably hadn't thought about for years, or maybe something in my childhood that I totally forgot about, and
mm-hmm,
it brings up an issue from childhood that can be related to something that's going on today. And I'd have like an aha moment, like, oh, that's why this, and this happened, or that's why I think that way, or that's why I behave that way. So when I start realizing those things, I could start shifting my mindset and trying to change my behavior and stuff. So yeah, that therapy thing, that's real.
Definitely real, because even too, when for ourselves we put a time date on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Like I'm gonna go to therapy for 6 months and then I should be good. No, you ain't even scratching the surface.
So
In those 6 months, that ain't scratching the surface. I mean, you gotta think about it. This is years and years of seeds that have been embedded in you. We are in our 40s. So we're dealing with stuff from early childhood to mid childhood to teenage years. And then on top of that, they have this thing where it's like emotionally, you
mhm,
can be emotionally stunted.
mhm,
Like some
mhm,
people still have the emotional intelligence of a 10-year old
mhm,
and they in their 40s. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? So to sit up there and be totally real with yourself and be like, okay, what age did I start growing? Like I'm
mhm.
physically an adult, but emotionally, I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to sit up here and handle this and do this by myself. So, like I said, you got to be 100 with yourself and where you are. And for me, that took um almost a breakdown for
Mhm,
that to happen. Almost a
mhm,
mental breakdown for that to happen. And when that happened, um I had to sit in it. I had to sit in it and be totally 100 with myself and say, I need help so I can get better, so I can move forward. And it is a process, and I'm still going through the process. So, yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. It's hard to face yourself and to be totally accountable.
yeah. And I know me and you have talked one time, and I've said, and I definitely have said this just thinking about it. Like, um, what I say? You don't. I look. People may not see that I'm trying to do the work because it's their how they look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this. I just thought about it. Like when people are losing weight, and you in this process of losing weight, and it says that
I ain't losing no weight drinking a Coke.
and you lose so you losing weight or on this journey to lose weight, the people that see you daily and constantly, they won't
Right,
even notice.
right, right.
Right. And then the people that see you maybe 3 months, they be like,
Be like,
oh,
oh, you done lost some
it's
weight,
it,
huh?
right. And it comes out
Mm-hmm.
first in our
Mm-hmm.
face. It's
Yeah.
shown in our face. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then people that you ain't seen for 6 months or half a year, they
Mm-hmm.
be like, girl, boy, like, like you really lost some weight. And then
Yeah.
I could get discouraged because it's like, nobody see that I lost weight. But
Mm-hmm.
the scale say something else. And everybody can't see that scale. But
Mm-hmm.
you see that scale, and the scale needs to be the motivation and not people's um
I was just finna say that. Who you
not
doing it for?
exactly. What's our
Mm-hmm.
motive? Is our motive is to be healthy? Because I know I couldn't change I didn't have a desire at first. I had a desire to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
but the desire to lose weight wasn't mine.
Mm.
The desire to lose weight was because I look like people started just saying names, and I'm like, yo, did I get that big? I ain't that big. My mama
Who
came.
calling you names?
Wait a minute, my granny,
Your
she
granny.
she
Oh,
said,
it's family.
yeah,
It
she
ain't
said,
nobody on the street calling you names. It's
oh no,
family.
basically,
Okay.
okay, yeah, she go hard for me. Um,
I'm
so
just saying.
so my grandma was like, "Who you is?" I'm like, "Granny, I'm Nisha, Marnisha." She said, "Ooh, no, you ain't." I was, I was like,
Listen, the grandparents gonna tell the truth and shame the devil
I'm
every time.
saying, I'm like, yo, I ain't that big, girl. I know I lost some weight, but man, I know I ain't that big. And so then my
they
mom,
they ain't gonna let us have it, dog. They gonna tell the truth and shame the devil.
so
Mm-mm.
my mama gonna say when she came to Arkansas to visit her, she say, "Baby, I think Nisha, what happened?" I'm like, "What you mean? What happened? Where did this weight come from? You gotta do something to y'all."
Listen, and your mama got a way of saying things too. It be in a sweet way, until you like tick her off. It be like in a sweet way, but it be so direct.
It do, it do, and
And you can't even get mad because of the way she say it. It's like
right,
she say it with love. She say
boy.
it with so much love, and it's like you can't get mad. But yeah.
So I go help Papa every day, right? Or when, and then Papa say, "You look like you losing weight there, Nisha." I'm like, "Thank you, Papa. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying, right?" And then next week he say, "Girl, you big." Like, like, yo, wait a minute. Last
Which
week,
one? Which one is it?
so I be tripping out, but then it's just like, okay, well, either that can kill you or that can make you.
Yeah, but
But
which
the way
one you gonna listen to?
exactly, it can
Mm-hmm.
kill you if we take that in, and it
Yeah,
makes us lose our perspective.
right. Yep. That's
And
not your truth.
that's not
That's
my
their
truth.
truth, but that's not your truth, and you don't have to agree with it. Right.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
even if we can acknowledge to say, I'm doing this for somebody else, that's
Mm-hmm.
freedom
Mm-hmm.
already.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first freedom for you to say, like you say,
Yep.
aha, had an
Right.
aha. And so then it was like, yo, I was doing this for myself. What
Mm-hmm.
for them. I
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, wait a minute, now I can change the perspective.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I can do what I need to do.
Right.
All these years I went to college, I'm telling you, I got as many credits to probably graduate already. And the
Mm-hmm.
last time I went, yo, I was like, yo, they say I had to do these two classes. And life was so strenuous on me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my, I got this, I got that. I was dealing with a lot of grief and hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and questioning myself, and feeling like I'm not supposed to be in this place, but I need to
Right.
fit in some place because all my friends is gone out in the world place. You know what I'm saying? So it
Right.
was like I needed that real connection, but
Mm-hmm.
I needed to also to make me feel better because I felt bad that I didn't get my degree yet.
Right.
And so that weighed on me. And then I started doing it just to please other people or
Mm.
to tell somebody else, look, see what I
Mm-hmm.
got? I proved you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
when we living in this place of trying to prove people wrong, that's more
Mm-hmm.
damaging.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Because you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for
right,
the wrong reasons. And it
wrong
won't
reason.
last. Every time you do it for the wrong reasons, it will not last.
That part right there, that won't last part. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, I'm on this good journey. And then something happened. And next thing you know, you got 30 cakes, 30 cupcakes that you eating all over. Then you sit in a place of shame and
Yep.
pity.
I
And
can't believe I did that. I feel so
right,
bad. Oh my
right,
God.
right. And see, God don't ever tell us. He say, I sit in it, deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
but don't consume yourself to
Mm-hmm.
believe that's who you are.
Right. Right.
So, so yeah, so it was just like, it's hard for me. And even when I started therapy, in the way I talk and the way I share, I do talk from the place of this what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
This is the things I had to overcome. This is how you doing in your life right now? I'm dealing with a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. My
Mm-hmm.
kids and my grandkids gone,
Mm-hmm.
but I know it was for their making, it's for my making, but I'm hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
when I talk like that and say I'm hurt, it was, well, at least you know where you are. I'm like, okay. But I feel like this. Well, at least you acknowledge your feelings. So it was like, or they say, well, you got to deal with your self esteem, and
Well, how you supposed to process that? How you supposed to deal with it if there's no context clues to teach you how or to show you how? I
right,
mean, you can't sit there and just wallow in it. Oh, I'm dealing with it. No, I'm dealing. No. So,
right.
is there any instruction given to how you're supposed to deal with it, how you're supposed to process it, or what to do when you're sitting in it?
No, and that was
Hmm.
the thing. It's been things like that, and that was like one therapy, my first therapist. Look, yo, we was on the phone. We did
Listen, your therapist was getting on my nerves. I'm sorry, I got to be honest. That's my truth.
right. So
Because it's like, you telling me that, that you're being very vulnerable, and they're sitting up here saying, well, you're okay, ain't nothing wrong. Excuse me? Everybody got something wrong.
right.
So yeah, no. So they were getting on my nerves. I'm sorry. Okay, I
So
spoke my truth.
right, when they say, "Well, have you thought about suicide?" I be careful with those words, right? Be like, "Hold on,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that's something I have dealt with. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then they move past it. You know, I believe one of the
But they asked like, have you been thinking of it currently or
right.
something like that? Yeah.
I like no, but it was back
Right.
then, and I want to go to the back then.
Like,
You
as
know,
to why.
as
Let's
to why.
dig into that. Yeah.
My
Mm-hmm.
very, very first therapist, and I'm about to be totally transparent with y'all. My very first therapist was one that I had used from work, and I always wanted therapy, but this time it was like I always wanted it, but I didn't know, I didn't really go and walk into it. And so I was in a bad way. I was just in a bad way. I think everything hurt my feelings for real, for real. And things have to build up for me to really even cry. Like, then I got to release. But
Right.
these moments in my life, a couple of years ago, somebody say, "Hey, I'm crying." Like, I was just so in an emotional place. And my baby was like, "Babe, you have to get you a therapist." And I'm like,
Mm.
"I don't want to," or I always say, "I want
You
to,
fought
I
that
want
thing,
to."
baby. I'm sorry. You
You,
fought that thing
yeah.
tooth and nail.
No, so the thing is, she always thought I fought it, but it was the very first one. She said, "Go through your job."
Mm-hmm.
You want? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
they got that set up, and she was like, "Yeah, call them and see."
Mm-hmm.
And that woman, I remember because I was at a place about during that time, like I don't have no reason to live.
Mm.
Like, I really felt like everything that I love attached to, and I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
feel worthy of you loving me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know I did some things. Oh, she think I'm crazy now. She ain't gonna want to deal with me. She gonna be like deuces, like So, whatever, baby. So, all in that process, I had to realize that at this moment, if I don't talk to somebody, if I don't get, I am going to do something, and
Right.
self harm will come back, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get back to that place of harming myself, and
Mm-hmm.
letting that be a way of release,
Right.
you know. And a lot of people, I'm not trying to stay on this, but a lot of people that self mutilate and do that,
Mm-hmm.
it's because at that moment
Mm-hmm.
it's like a exhale for you to, like, it makes you just kind of really, really, it's a release in the form of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so now when we stop and it's over with, and 4 days later we feeling that pain, and we like, why did
Mm-hmm.
I do that? Now I gotta deal with the bandages. Now I gotta deal with this. Now I gotta deal with that. But for you to say um to me that you're not my therapist, you're my partner,
Mm-hmm.
And that was something I had to look at. And I'm like, God, I've been wanting a partner that I can talk to and share with. And she's so easy. And when we first was talking, I just was blah, 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 blah. And I was getting my own results. The more I talked, the more revelation came. The more I did this, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is why this and this is why that. And I would just call her like, this is the revelation I had when this was 5 years old. And I was doing this I didn't have a therapist. I was definitely doing some self work within myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I was already going deep. But see, this is the thing. When we going deep, our responses to things change. Like
Mm-hmm.
we in that hard space. Like, I want to be good, but I'm dealing with this. So now I don't even know how to even express the truth I need to live in right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a pregnant woman. She about to give birth, but baby, that whole attitude, the 9 months, emotions up, emotions down, cravings high,
Mm-hmm.
don't want this type of food, but I need that type of food. All these things going on. And I would say we birthing our healing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those right there, we first we got to realize that we pregnant, and we pregnant to ourselves so we can live in divine order of what we've been connected to, and that's God,
Mm-hmm.
that's source, that's spirit.
Right.
And a lot of that makes us not don't even think we're worthy of nothing. God can't do it. He ain't doing it quick enough because I failed. He ain't doing it good enough because my mama told me I was ugly. So all these excuses. My mama ain't said I was ugly, okay? My mama was, you
Mom
know,
ain't say that. Mm-mm.
my
You are
mama,
your mama's pride and joy.
right. Look, I can show you the text, right? The Instagram messages. But no, some of us really go through that. And the more
Mm-hmm.
we go through that, you telling me I can come to God
Hmm.
and he gonna make it right. He gonna make it feel right. I can come to God and everything gonna change. Mm,
And
that's
coming to God, are you coming to an external source or are you going within? Which one?
exactly.
Or are you going to the God within?
Hmm. Right, right. So we get told this so much, and we can't even get to the us within, to acknowledge the God within, to even
Mm-hmm.
embrace that we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, have always been my one of my favorite scriptures. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. So I do want to reread this text because the things I've seen, and I'm gonna say this: the more I evolve in the way I think, and don't think from a place of religion, and more
Mm-hmm.
of a place of love and who God is and who Christ is. We
Mm-hmm.
do use them words interchangeably, but if we really look at what the scriptures say about who Jesus is, he always pointed us, even himself, to the Father.
To the Father. That's it.
Oh, so it was like, I'm no different than y'all. If I
Mm-hmm.
gotta come to God, come to my Father as I do.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta come to Jesus before we get to God.
Mm.
Right. And so I understand that Jesus is the extension of his son, which is
Mm-hmm.
love. Which is love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we say God is Jesus is love, God is love. Okay. So then Jesus turned to the Jews who had claimed to believe in him. They claimed to, but it was mouth lip service.
That word claim is loud.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
It's
what?
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
you saying it, but you no.
no. And
No.
even in right, and even in the King James, it says believe on him, not in him.
Mm, mm,
So we believe in on because we acknowledging what we see about him,
mm-hmm.
but we're not believing in him. And that was the question.
Mm-hmm.
And he turned to the Jews. He didn't turn to the Gentiles. He didn't turn to the sick and lowly. He didn't turn to none. He turned to the Jews who and the Israelites who thought they had everything right.
Mm-hmm.
He asked these people, but since y'all are the religious leaders, teaching and preaching and saying we're gonna, this is the way to get to God. This
Right.
is it. This is Moses, and this man ain't nobody. He don't got no power,
Mm.
right? But his
Mm.
power was demonstrated in all love actions.
Yeah.
All love actions. So if you stick with this, living out what I tell you, you are my disciples for sure. You are my disciples for sure.
Hmm.
So if you stick with this, what was Jesus' message? Love,
Yep.
justice, freeing the oppressed. What he was sacrificing, what he may need to do at that moment to go heal somebody else, right? To
Mm.
speak life to somebody else. He would the friends had to go to the roof and cut out so they can bring his friends down in the midst of everything else he was going through. They was like,
Mm-hmm.
we're determined for
Right.
healing to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
Jesus didn't push him away, right? The man that set
Mm-hmm.
out the temple, they didn't push him away. You
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said, you treat these and do what what love does, right? If you see your brother and they hungry and you don't feed them,
Mm.
if you
Mm.
if you walk right, if you see somebody that need housing and we don't pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we do gotta do wisdom, but it's some of these
Use
things,
wisdom, people.
right? There's some of these things that we can be a what is that? What's the word I'm looking for? It's in my head, I can't say it. Entertaining. We can
Mm-hmm.
be entertaining angels unaware.
Right. Yep.
And so that was Jesus saying, we gotta be in love.
And use discernment. Make sure you're being led by the spirit and not by
Right.
yourself or ego. Mm-hmm.
Right. And even to learning, doing wisdom to the place of God, I know this right. I know this is a good deed. It's a great deed. But is it something that I need to walk out in? Right? Do I need to let them in my house? Or do I need
Mm-hmm.
to take them to a shelter or just provide them food? You know what I'm saying? All right. We buy a gas station, you on the side of the street. So, and when I lived in Chicago, it was very easy to do this because there was a lot of people that it was a lot of people that were homeless, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was prevalent that they were homeless and they walked the street. Hey, Tasha, and they walked the street. So when they would come to me and I'm walking or whatever, oh, you got some change? You got $1? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. But it wasn't a you got to do this so I can pray for you. No, I just said
Right.
I give it to you. After I
Right.
give it to him, can I say a word of prayer? And
Mm-hmm.
people I found that was more receptive than me
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Oh, I gotta pray for you right now," and
Right.
then give you the money.
Right.
Anything, if we even use the example of Christ, he he fed people naturally, so it will
Mm-hmm.
open up their spirit for them to receive spiritually. You have to
Right.
be able to, unfortunately, it may we may say, man, why we got to do this for them? Why they just can't come for the word, baby? Because they soul broken. Their
Right.
heart is at a place that they're not even able to receive your words because their stomach is empty. Like
Right.
we don't know what be going on in people's house, and I'm not going to even get in this text because we're talking about truth, though, right? The storehouse was was plentiful, because people gave into it, not to bargain, not to you know what I'm saying, not to say you got to do this, but no. If we really could look at text when Paul taught about it, they came together to fellowship. They ate and was married, and they supped together. That was the fellowship. The fellowship
Mm-hmm.
was really an intimate relationship because first of all, we gathered at home. They gathered in homes. Uh, I got you. So first, anybody can answer that one. Tag in shit. So first, they was in an intimate place because it was their home. It was their home. So you got to see what people was living in. You got to see the
Mm-hmm.
pictures on the wall. You got to see this or that. And then it begins to open up for people to ask you questions. Oh, when did you take this picture?
Mm.
How long ago with this picture? Who are these people in this picture? Right? So now you got to be transparent because you put people in the place that you say is home to give them
Mm-hmm.
access to you for you to even be able to answer questions and be vulnerable. So,
Mm-hmm.
question is, what if spirit tells you not to give, but you do it anyway? You can, yeah, you ain't gonna receive what you may want to receive. It ain't gonna.
Do you think
It
you'll
ain't.
be
I don't believe
punished?
when we really. I feel like this. God. No, I don't think I would be punished. I do believe that we will be covered with grace, but
Mm.
some things, if we did not give and it wasn't just a release, and we just, because some things definitely is, let's use wisdom, right? And some
Mm-hmm.
things is just a simple hello. That don't take wisdom. That's just saying hello.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which is spiritual.
Right.
We spend it. Okay, there we go. So we can
You breaking up. I can't hear you.
we can say hello to somebody. No, let me give somebody 500. So if you give somebody $500 and they treat you wrong, or they don't spend the money on what you gave it to spend it on, or what they told you they was gonna do, I shouldn't have gave them that money. I shouldn't have gave them that money.
You froze.
Yeah, spirit told you to. And you felt a little inkling in your soul. Let
I.
me so
You're
you
not
feel an
clear,
in your
Nisha. You're
soul,
not
in your
clear.
spirit, not to do something, and you do it. And so I'm not clear.
You're not clear. No, you
Okay.
sounding like a robot.
You're spinning. I'm not clear. Am I clear now?
You're like going in and out, and you're sounding like a robot.
Am I clear now? Can you hear me?
You're froze.
Okay. Can you mute yourself and see what that
Yeah.
is? That's what I'm talking. Okay. We both was muted. Now we unmuted. Is that better? Better? Okay. So then we do these things, and the things that we do automatically come with consequences. And it can be a bad consequence, it can be a good consequence, right? We can say it's a we pretty much we reaping our heart, we reaping what we sow. So our harvest is what our harvest is because of the seeds that we planted. And I don't believe God gonna curse you, condemn you, nothing. I just know He ain't gonna go against His word. Everything you plant will grow, whether good stuff or bad stuff.
Okay, I got a different opinion about that. So I'm gonna give an example. So, okay, somebody done drug you through the mud, right? They done treated you like a dirty little dog, and you were nothing but good to this person, right? And as we've been taught, we be like, we know that things come full circle. You know what I'm saying? So we know that, okay, it's gonna catch up to them. So we say this little quick thing, Lord, please have mercy on them. Are we actually supposed to be asking, or should we just let it be and just let God do, or spirit or the universe do what it's gonna do? Because what I had to learn and what my best friend told me is like, you are why are you asking for mercy for them? Why are you asking for mercy? You're not wishing bad on them. You're not wishing, oh, I just want them to go through this and go through that. You're not wishing that, but just like you said, you reap what you sow. Whatever seeds you plant, they're gonna come to harvest, right? Okay. They gotta reap that harvest.
Right, whether good or bad.
just like just like you gotta reap your harvest, they have to reap their harvest. So why is it your place for you to sit up here and ask that or even say that? So when I asked that question of you doing something that spirit told you not to do, if you're being disobedient as a parent, your child be disobedient, then what happens? You get a warning or you get tapped on the behind, or you know what I'm saying? Whatever. So I think, this is just my opinion, I think that sometimes it's not like you would be cursed. No, but I think you're kind of like wasting your goodness, your blessing. You could be missing out on your blessing because you trying to be a blessing to somebody else, and God ain't told you to do that. Spirit ain't told you to do that. So your cousin come ask you for $500, and you got the $500, but spirit know what your friend finna do with that $500, but you don't know. And spirit tell you don't do it, and you do it anyway. Okay, then your car break down. You need that $500 to fix your car. But you being disobedient, you done sat up there and gave it to your cousin, trying to be all nice and stuff. So I think
Passing
with
the
some
buck.
things that we may not want to do, we may think that, okay, I got to do this because if I'm giving, it's okay, but you're still planting a seed. So what soil are you planting that seed in? Are you planting in fertile soil? If spirit's telling you not to do it, obviously that's not fertile. So what kind of harvest are you about to reap? That's just my view on it.
Now you said the soil is not fertile. This is the
Mhm.
thing too. It may be good soil, but just not for you. And I think, because
That's
we
why it ain't for you, because spirit told you not to do it.
right.
You being
So
hard headed. So that's
right.
why.
And so when people hear that, or you hear that, people, not saying you, but people do that and say, "Oh, they just not for me." It's kind of like, if they're not for you, you can't make nobody else feel bad, because that was what God told you. And what God
Mhm.
told you, that was for you. Now, that means Bojangles can be good soil from somebody else, right?
Right.
But
Right.
Bojangles ain't sitting in your spirit, because you're on another frequency, you're on
Mm.
another energy level, you're on a place of, listen, I'm trying not to eat fried foods, so it is not good soil for you. But I feel like majority of people have said, because I was told this, it's told to you too. It applies to everybody and everything. And it don't. Right. And so that's where the wisdom even come at, where you plant your soil at. Oh, my cousin to give it to me, but that's okay. My uncle did. And even in taking something, if you take something with that attitude, baby, it ain't gonna operate in gratitude.
But
I
that's the thing. If they got it from their uncle, that has nothing to do with you.
Right, but if they
You were obedient.
exactly,
So
but they
you will reap. Either way, you're going to reap a harvest, whether it's good or bad. You know
right,
what I'm saying? But obedience is better than sacrifice. You were obedient versus being disobedient, and then boom, something happened.
right.
You be
So
obedient, and then boom, something happened, and you like, yay.
right,
You know what I'm saying? You set the stage. So
right,
whatever else somebody else do, if that's good soil, rich soil for somebody else, that's for somebody else. That's not for you.
right, right. And as I was that is, and what I'm saying, like on that, you matured to that, right? Because some people haven't matured to that, and that's the point I'm coming from. That they ain't got to that place. I
Right.
just want everybody mad because Tisa didn't give me money, and I asked her. But she didn't give it to me, so I had to go ask for my uncle. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You still got what you needed, but then you'll make somebody else look bad because you didn't give it. You didn't get it from them.
Well, that's
And,
they problem. You can't be worried about what how
and,
you look to other people. You can't be worried about that because you have to be obedient to spirit. That at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You have to be obedient because you are accountable for you.
mm-hmm.
When you transition,
What God
it
gonna say?
ain't gonna your cousin ain't gonna matter, your uncle ain't gonna matter, your kids ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? They can't go with you, they not going with you. You are responsible for you in this life, in this journey.
Mm-hmm. 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 So you said something, and I do want to go back to the scripture to finish it. But you said something where people have a 10-year-old mindset and a 50-year-old, 40-year-old body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even with that, why like people don't even want to recognize that. And I'm just hearing it again. I believe I did say something about it, but that happens more often than not.
Mm-hmm. Because people get stuck.
They
They get
get
stuck at a certain age. Yeah.
stuck at a certain age and
Mm-hmm.
they settled in their self. They're settled in their mind. This is who they are. They
Mm-hmm.
settled in my sickness. I'm gonna need somebody to take care of me. As much
Mm-hmm.
as I be wanting to we want to be coddled sometimes and loved and rubbed on. That doesn't mean the rubbing is gonna come from somebody. My wife putting her hands on my back. No, it can come from what she did. Cause being in extreme pain sometimes, she just ordered some pain meds. Right?
Mm.
She did the best she knew to solve the problem. Pain patches, you know, um, getting the things I need, and that's care. Care don't have to be me just laying on her and oh baby, but that's gonna get time for her. I'm just saying, oh baby, but you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything to address this issue. You just choose to stay in this state because now it's giving you something. Oh, they here to rub on my back. Oh, they here to do this for me. They here to do that for me, and make you feel good on the outside, but inside you feeling still this pain. You still hurting. The pain and hurting is two different things sometimes. You still in this place of woe is me, you know, and but we got to get out of that place because sometimes I don't want nobody. I don't even want her to always know when I'm hurting because I try to make it through and push through and keep on going and she can tell this is care, this observation. When people in your life and they love you for real, they see the part of you that you don't see, or the part of you. This is why whoever's telling you some things, you may not see it for yourself, but there's nothing wrong for you to take a step back and look within yourself, or hear what they have said to see where it's relevant for what they're saying. It's the truth for them, but how this is really the way I am. This is really, you say all the time, this is the experience that people get from me. Like, I don't want that experience. But
That's the way I experienced you. I experienced you this way. Yeah.
right. And so having so saying that word, I was like, dang. In that moment, it didn't have nothing. It didn't come from a place of judgment. It didn't come from a place of you're wrong, you're this, you that. No. And it can even be a good thing. Oh, you lovely, you bubbly, you mushy, whatever the case may be. If that's the truth for them, that's the truth for them. And so it made sense. It takes away the level of judgment or criticism when you say, or when anybody say, this is the way I'm experiencing you. This is how I experience you in this moment. So it's not they coming and, well, I used to take it like, man, I'm always she judging me. That was my inner struggle. She didn't do that at all. That was a battle within myself, right? So it had to come from, I had to start looking at things in a different view. And that's maturity, because we want people to love us the way we love them or the way we want love. And people can't love us and show us exactly how,
Mm-hmm.
what we, if I wash your hair and that's something you desire, and you don't wash my hair, but
The way I
you know what
wash
I mean?
your hair.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That don't
Mm-hmm.
mean it's less love,
Mm-hmm.
but we get stuck in that place. And I believe that's the kind of childish mentality sometimes. We get stuck in that place of
We want
saying,
what we want when we want it and how we want it. Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm, and when we
Mm-hmm.
want it in the time frame that we want it in,
Mm-hmm.
and we miss out on the glory that the person, and I know somebody may watch this and say, oh, only God gets the glory. We miss out on the glory that God created them in,
Mm.
because we want to see and do. We want them to do exactly what we want them to do.
And then we go back to that word control.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
we are not in a place of reception,
Exactly.
because we
Yeah.
always seeing what's wrong with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Instead of looking inward and at yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we, first of all, a lot of us will weather stick and beat somebody else up and beat them like down, because most time they're deflecting.
Mm-hmm. They
Every
don't
time
want to
you look
deal with self.
right,
Right.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I could
easy.
point out your flaws. What that
Mhm.
scripture say? Get the speck out your own eye.
Yep. They don't even, it don't even, what we said before you get it out of mind. It don't even
That's
say
right.
that. It just say get the speck out of your own eye.
Get the speck out of your own eye.
He didn't
Yeah.
even turn around and say, before you get the speck out of mine, because that's saying you still have some liberty
You
to
got
get
some work to do while
right,
you worried about her over there. Do
right.
your work.
Do your work. But in my when I'm saying that, right, and I say, and it says just get the speck out of your own eye, right? But if we have came around and always said, before you get the speck out of mine, right? That's still encouraging others. This, we made it cliche, right? To encourage others to still be able to get the speck out of mine.
You hypocrite. NIV version. You hypocrite. First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye.
And if you see clearly, for real, it will give you grace.
It will tell you to give that individual grace. Yes. Yes.
So then if
Now
you get
grace has limits.
right, grace do have limits, but
Grace got
in
limits.
that same thing, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
focused on my eye and I get
Mm-hmm.
it out, now I
And I ain't
can
got
see
time to focus on yours.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can see you clearly. That means I can see, dang, they treat me like this because they got cussed out for a good morning every day.
Mm, mm.
You say, Daddy, good morning, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And that's it's just like, and that's the translation. So then we realize, like, oh, they did tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
did share that
And how
story.
did I react? Oh, and then you start feeling a
See?
kind of way. Oh, I treated them wrong. I treated them bad. And then what you do? You start going inward. You start changing your mindset. Then you start
Mhm,
changing your behavior. And then you start changing how you react to that individual. You'll start saying, "Oh, great rising back."
right, 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 and not living under uh living under that no more. And then even if I give my baby grace, because I looked at my own self, the grace that I'm talking about is not the grace for me to judge her again in. The grace is I see the root that allows me to
Mm-hmm.
understand the story. And when
Mm-hmm.
and then it come back to me, oh, she shared this with me at all already.
Right.
So why in
Mm-hmm.
the world would I still treat her like this
Mm-hmm.
and I forget or don't even receive the story because I'm
Mm-hmm.
already in my way. So if I'm
Yeah.
already in my way, I'm going to still treat you the same way because
Mm-hmm.
I still ain't cleared out my spec to
Right.
see exactly where you are. It says in clarity so you can
Mm-hmm.
see clear. So then it's like, oh, okay. Now I know I need to change my behavior because she shared this with me, he shared this with me, and I don't take it as another attack to continue to treat them like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I see this. Oh, okay, that's the grace. Like, okay, it makes me understanding. But
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna let you continue to do the same thing only because I know the knowledge,
Right.
only because I see clearly. And when you
Right.
see clearly, it even takes you up to a higher vibration. And in some of us get, oh, I overcame that already. I did that already.
Mm.
You need to do this because this is the way I've done it.
Right.
So I God checked me. I think it was last week, this week, and I use myself as an example, right? And then God told me to say it differently
Mm-hmm.
because that may not. Maybe you did it in this way, right? But don't give off the way you did it. Mean the way they have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can give them encouragement that you went through it,
Mm-hmm.
but don't be so well, I had to drink 8 glasses of water. That's
So
what you
you
did.
got to do it too. Right. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And we can say
Mm-hmm.
we can have different weights. We,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? We don't know all the ins and out of this person's life
Right.
because oh, I came over self-esteem issues. This is how you need to come over it. No,
Mm-hmm.
you can just say this is the information I'm offering to just share my story.
Right.
And if anything is relatable to you, you can receive it. If it's
Right.
not, don't. But don't,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it makes us even look and listen in a different way.
Right.
But we got to be able to get the truth.
Yeah. That's it. That's
And
it.
so I want to say this last thing with the scripture. If you stick with this, living out what I tell you, Christ talked about love. Living out what I tell you, that's love, right? You are my disciples for sure. You are my disciples because you are walking in love. You are maintaining a position of love. Listen, you ain't getting it perfect, right? But you are walking as Christ did. That He's the example. And Christ walked in love. So if you stick to what I'm telling you, Jews, the people that say, "Oh, I'm about God," the Sadducees and the Pharisees, if you really believe in Him and stick to it, you would not be standing in a place of judging everybody else. You would not be in the way of making your decisions, making your thoughts about them. They got to have those same thoughts for you to be great. You got to have these certain type of robes for you to make sure everybody know what level you on. You got to have all these things to make sure that you're seen as perfect, as whole, as loving. But your actions do not walk out no love at all, right? And so this when I read it, I was like, dog, okay, living out what I tell you, love. You may be my disciples for sure. because you experience it and you walk out. Then you experience for yourself the truth. And that truth will free you. The truth of knowing that you are loved because God loved you and you're made from a place of love. And so that's the truth. To know that you are loved, to open up your mind, open up your spirit to be able to receive love instead of rejecting love because I know I was made in love. And that's the truth. It's not so much of our opinions of other people. It's not so much what we think or how we see the perception of people. It is see my create your brother, sister, husband, wife, whatever. See them and not just to love on them in the way we want to get the love back. No, be open to know that you're love, made in love. So you should duplicate what you made with is love. But the Jews and the Israelites will tell you that we are dirty, that you have to go through 109, 190 in Leviticus, right? How many things you have to do to become clean? And out of all those things, none, ain't no way we gonna be clean. So that when we walk in the love and we know we love, it strips us away from trying to do things that people want us to do. And it's taking us from the identity of who we really are. Knowing that you are the extension of God, knowing that you are made in the same way that Jesus was, with the same responsibilities that Jesus had, right? And the thing is this, you can even do greater than Jesus. Why would Jesus belittle himself if we say this, right? Because we don't see ourselves as good. We don't see ourselves as righteous. We don't see ourselves fearfully and wonderfully made. But if Jesus is love, and when I got this revelation, I'm going to keep saying it and sticking to it, right? That we should always know that we're loved so we can treat other people in love. And we will step back from trying to make our judgment their life, their thoughts, our thoughts, right? But they say, let your thoughts be in Christ Jesus. In Christ Jesus' thoughts wasn't what he was made with, was love. And it said God is love. So that's the truth. When I read it, it was like, that's the truth. Know what you made out of. Know what you not even made for. Not even your purpose. Not what I got to do. When you know that you were made in love and you got that speck out your own eye to see clearly how you was created, you will be able to walk in the truth of your design. I'm done. Oh, yeah, Anybody in comments, concerns, online, whenever. Um, so yeah. That's what I have. Hope hope it made sense.
It
So
did, it did.
thank you. So we have what's next week? What's next week? The third weekend? No, we ain't even get there yet. Okay, so next Saturday, that would be our daughter. Okay, so anyway, I'm thinking, well, we will be here next week. Tune in, share, like, tag, embrace people with this. We want to just challenge where everyone is, and we would like y'all to even challenge us to become greater and better. Not challenge to be a battle, no, but so we can learn and respect each other in the way they think. In the way they think can make us even look at things different and wider in an open perspective, right? So that's what Revive to Live is all about. Walking in love, being Christ conscious, uh, God conscious, spirit conscious, unity conscious, all that good stuff. Yes, our first in-person service would be March 15th. More details, more details are coming. Yep, more details will be here. If you like to give, you can definitely give it at Cash App Revive to Live, $ Revive to Live. And his rooming, the two is two capital I's to represents two. All right. Um, am I missing anything? So if anybody would like to be a part of the live, to come in, to have discussion so we can share off each other, talk, I mean, bounce things off each other, listen and learn from each other, y'all are more than welcome. Just send me, Marnisha MT, DM, or send my wife, um, the co-founder of Revive to Live, uh, Tisa MT, DM one of us and let us know. Even if you have a topic that you would like us to talk about, let us know. DM one of us and we will get on that. All right? Because we ain't here for the church man, we here for the whole man. And my baby revised that so wonderfully. So, yeah, that's it, y'all. That's all. Have an amazing Saturday, the rest of Saturday. And see you on next week. Yep. See you next week.